My layoff from WB Games was one of the greatest opportunities I could have ever asked for in my life, y'all. Like, I vividly remember being in that meeting room with all those people that were being laid off of me as well. I vividly remember, like, when we got the news, I just kind of stood there. I wasn't happy, I wasn't angry or upset or anything like that. I just stood there in this acceptance state. I was just like, all right, it is what it is. I was like, Ed, like, don't be sad. There's a bigger picture to this, bro. You gotta move forward with your life regardless. But I just remember having this confidence, man. Like I knew something big was on the line. So I'm gonna show y'all, man, how that changed my life. So check this out. This right here is a version of me when I was in AAA, and that version of me, I thought my path was going to be okay, which is a common path in the game industry. I thought my path was going to be all right. Come into it as an entry level animator, work my way up the ranks to mid level to senior level. I'd probably be traveling a lot because I'd be going to different studios. That's just the nature of the industry. And I wanted to work with all the biggest companies. I wanted to work with Capcom. I wanted to work with Square Enix, Riot, or Santa Monica, PlayStation, whatever, Nintendo. I wanted to work for all of those guys. And so boom, here I am, man. Like, PAX East 2018. This is our booth. And man, there's just nothing like I like attending conventions and conferences and things like that as an attendee, but there's just nothing like being an exhibitor. And when I was in AAA, when I was in WB, like, I went in as an attendee, and then I went as an exhibitor, as an indie developer. And man, the way that I connect with people as an exhibitor, as someone who's sharing their indie game, it's just been awesome. Like, there's so many themes in our game, and there's so many things that I went through with the game in terms of, battling cancer through my family and helping my family fight that. I've connected with gamers, I've connected with developers on that, down to my lifestyle, the minimalist lifestyle, to, just certain power struggles in the world, in the industry. Like, there's so many things and themes in our game that I connected with people on, you know what I mean? And it's just been life-changing to be able to do that, y'all. Like, I done traveled, like, to Canada. This is me at Montreal International Game Summit. I never been to Canada before, y'all. So becoming indie caused me to be able to travel to places that I've never been. And of course you could do that working in AAA if you move somewhere and stuff, but like, to do that and to carry your own project, like, that your team is working on, to carry that somewhere, and then to really be like the person that, like, okay, we're leading this, but we also are here to connect, is nothing like it. So it's been life-changing, man, to do that. I mean, I went here, it was just a different, culture out there. They speak French out there in Montreal. I got to see, like, the food. They really up with poutine, but that's not really my flavor or my jazz. But I got to really see a lot of different things. And going indie, like, it forces me to get outside of my comfort zone. Like, I really had to do a lot of public speaking. Like, this is me at DreamHack, where I had to get up in front of the stage in front of hundreds of people. There's thousands of people at this convention, people just walking around, and I'm literally sharing the vision of the game and the energy and the vibe and all of that, and connecting with people here. We had a booth here as well. And man, like, I didn't think this would be me when I was here. When I was here, boom, boom. When I was right here, I did not think I would be here, yo. Like, it's crazy thinking about it. I didn't think my life path would go down this. I told y'all the path that I thought I was going to be on. Look at these images. This is the path that I'm on now. This is the path that I've been on. You know what I mean? And that path also forced me, in terms of my comfort zone, to get involved with my community in Lawrence, Mass, and Massachusetts, and the indie community on the East Coast. It forced me to do that. You know what I mean? So, boom, I was like, all right, I gotta go to, I went to New York, went to GDOC, and also in Lawrence. Like, I was like, all right, I started pulling up to the small businesses, telling people about what I do, networking and just I landed this opportunity through a business accelerator, and then I went through that for 3 months, and I was pitching and getting better at pitching. Like, yeah, man, I could just go down a list of things, like, which I am now. But it's just awesome, man. Like, this is my life path for me showing y'all images, and it's not even all of it. This is just a sample of some of the things that I've done on this path as an indie developer. Ever since the layoff, man, ever since that opportunity, you know what I mean? So yeah, just looking at this, it's like, I got involved in my community, and me getting involved in my community, also, I landed this opportunity for volunteer work in exchange for housing. And the volunteer opportunity that I got was working with kids, and, I was teaching them game design and animation, and I didn't even know I had, like, this deep passion in me to really, like, teach and mentor kids, man. And that really unlocked in me, at that time. I was like, wow, like, I really love this. Like, I really love even just seeing them glow, man, when they see that they could move something on the screen, animate something, or create something, and that I had the knowledge and skill set to be able to share with them. So I became pretty much a mentor. And at this stage in my life, when I started getting involved in my community, and that pretty much led into, I was really helping them hone their skills, whether they were 2D or 3D. So I would tell them, like, look, bro, you got to draw from life if you want to be good at 2D, and then you put your own style in it. So that's what he's doing right here. And, I was teaching 3D as well, whether it be 3D sculpting or animation to kids and the youth. And, like, y'all, like, it was just amazing to be able to be that mentor. And my man right here, my man Ryko, he was also in the youth program, and I was teaching him a lot and mentoring him a lot about, his path as being a concept artist and a character artist. And, I got to watch him grow up, man, from a boy to a man, and he, like, graduated, watched him graduate high school, and till this day, like, he is on his path of a concept artist, and his desires to help tell stories through concept art. And so, man, like, when I tell y'all, like, I didn't, you see where this is going? You know what I mean? This is my life. You know what I mean? A lot of these people right now are still involved in my life. A lot of this stuff is still revolving around my life right now. And this is what I'm living. And because I got involved in my community, I got into this makerspace because I was like, all right, I want to be able to help as many people as possible in this city to, that don't necessarily got the budget for college or whatever. I was like, oh, I could do that through this makerspace. I could teach game design and animation, in underprivileged communities. And then that will pretty much allow me to be able to spread this makerspace, would allow me to be able to spread the message to them. So I got involved in this makerspace, and me getting involved with that, and it caused this ripple effect of, like, newspaper articles and all type of stuff. And I was just like, wow, like, I didn't even expect this, you know what I mean? But this is what happened because because of the path that I took, all from starting a freaking indie game, y'all. All from starting an indie game. All of this, like, I got more, y'all. Hold on. So, let's see, where we at? So also, one of my roommates in the program, when my contract was over for the program with the volunteer in exchange for housing, but before that contract was over, I had a roommate. This brother was doing a humanitarian project called Mi Casita, where it would pretty much provide tiny house opportunities, accessible home ownership opportunities, and self-sustainability to people in terms of, like plant life, gardening, and things like that. So I was really aligned with that because our game has plant life in it, and it's about that's a big theme in the game. And so I was helping out and supporting that. And when the contract was over, I had to figure out where I was going to stay. I was sleeping in my van, and that involvement with Mi Casita, the tiny house movement, it planted a seed in my brain and in my soul to where I was like, hold on, wait a minute, why don't I do a tiny house? And this wasn't even something I was considering on my own, y'all, but because I got involved with this with the organization that I was doing the volunteer for, and that I got involved in my community like that, I got involved with the tiny house stuff, and then I ended up finding my tiny house. So I was sleeping in my van, and I said, all right, I gotta figure this out. And this was another instance of my life where I was like, okay, I need to embrace this like this discomfort. Like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, embrace it. How can we transform this? This was another opportunity for me to do that. This was something that was repeated in my life where I would take this thing that seemed like a disadvantage, whether it be a layoff, whether it be, sleeping in a van, whatever. I would take that and I would transform it. Now I have a tiny house, like I have this tiny house lifestyle where I live this minimalist lifestyle where I need less, but I have more. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot less clothes now. I had a lot more clothes when I was working in AAA and things, and me being indie, like you really have to, work with your budget in order to get your game out there. And so I started really saying, okay, what do I absolutely need and what do I not need and what can go? And so that going indie caused me to have this minimalist mindset and this like lifestyle to where, only things that are necessary is in my life, including like energy, people, etc. So my lifestyle of that changed, and also like the way I eat. Like I said, when my family was battling cancer, I started looking more into foods, and me looking into foods, it made me switch my mindset. I learned about this guy called Chris Beats Cancer, and it made me switch my mindset about food. And I was already in the plant theme of the game through Joseph and everything, and I was just like, yo, like this is just a line for me. Like I no longer eat animal products. So y'all, all of this from the indie game, I swear, like this is the path. So this image right here, where I was saying humanitarian projects. So there was this incident in the Merrimack Valley of Massachusetts where there were these gas explosions because the gas company had made some type of error, and it was literally ambulances, fire trucks everywhere that day. Like it was like apocalyptic craziness. Like you see like homes were burning and things. And so I had started talking to the city because I had my tiny house a little bit after this happened, and me getting involved in the tiny house movement really made me want to help other people. So when this happened right there were a lot of refugees and people that were trying to find places to stay, and they were putting them inside of these like temporary mobile homes, or like the RVs, until they could figure out something more permanent for them. And so there was also like a housing crisis in the city of Lawrence where I was staying at. Rents, man, they're like, that was one of the reasons why I had got a tiny house, because I was like, look, I need to spend the least amount as possible on my living expenses so that I can put anything and everything towards the game. And I had got the house around 2019 when I was presenting this to the city, and I had spoke to the mayor. I had spoke to the mayor of the city of Lawrence, and the mayor was greenlit on it. He was like, absolutely, let's look into this. Let's start working on this. At the time when I spoke to him, the rents were about like $1,800 a month to get like a 1-bedroom. And so I was just like, man, something's got to be done about this housing crisis here. 70% of the residents were renters, only like 30% were homeowners. And I was like, look, I want to share what I figured out with tiny homes. I have a tiny homes that I own, and I only had to pay about 2 or 3 of these payments to own my home. You know what I mean? And so I was like, man, I want to help people get what I have, and people that can have some type of ownership of something, or exclusive access. And I started this project, this humanitarian project called The Haven, which is pretty much like a place of refuge for people that experience natural disasters like the gas explosions, or somebody that's homeless, or a veteran, a single mother. Like this would be a place for them to be able to either have home ownership of a tiny house, and or be able to have somewhere to live until they could have something more permanent. And so this all from me starting the indie game, like I said, once again, because the path that it took me on to the tiny house stuff was from me, everything that I did that I explained, from me starting the game and deciding to go indie. So y'all, like, and this project is still going on. I'm still involved in tiny house communities and doing what I can to help. Tiny house. That's like my humanitarian thing outside of the game. That one of the things that I do. So, yeah, going indie, man, it changed my life. That layoff, as you can see, everything that I just showed y'all, that layoff was an opportunity. I do not see that in my life as something. I have no regrets. I do not see that in my life as something like, oh man, like it was a horrible thing. Like it was a blessing in disguise, and I wouldn't take it back, man. Like that's honestly how going indie changed my life. That's honestly how my layoff of AAA, of WB Games, it changed my life, because I can't really say what my life would have been if I was still in AAA. I just highly doubt it would have been all this stuff. You know, I highly doubt it, because I just remember where I was. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with this. Anybody that's in these opportunities at AAA, you got a job or whatever. But for me, I was complacent, sort of. I wasn't really going into endeavors like I explained now, or explained on my indie path. I wasn't really going into that. I guess where I wasn't complacent, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get to the next position in my career path. But I had no clue that I would do stuff like this from an indie path, and I wouldn't change it for the world, man. So anyway, I love y'all, man. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. There's definitely gonna be more content, more stories like this. I have a lot of stuff coming in the mix for y'all, so stay tuned. Peace, love, and blessings. I'm out.